Not a baseball player.
And join
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have a very quick story about the four-way test. It was an international convention where there was this covering the district governor, if you will, from Texas. He was an attorney. He talked about four-way test. He said, you know, at first it was really isn't easy, but I divided between the isits and the woods. I thought, what's he talking about? The isits are easy. The truth is a very long concern. So as you get to the woods, it's actually really complicated. So I can never really say the four-way test without remembering that. It was really fun. But I'm more serious with it. Please determine the four-way test. Things we think, say, or do. This is the truth. It is fair to all concerned. The will, goodwill, and better friendships, the will be beneficial to all concerned. Thank you. Those of you who are visiting Rotarians or guests today, please stand and I'll make our way around to get your questions.
These are guests or visiting Rotarians and guests.
My guest today is Ellie Dunlap. Ellie is a senior at CU. She does all kinds of fabulous help to get me going every day. She's also getting ready for her team is the first seed in our region for the NCAA Club Women's Soccer Championships. Please welcome her.
Walk the road, business to Rotarian, bring it over, flag.
My guest today is Barry Hartman. I think you all know him, and we're allowing him to sit at the record. Even though he is. Hi, Steve Bartley, been with this club in the past. Good to see you all here.
Gary. I'm pleased to introduce Jerry Walsh. Jerry is a good friend, and she retired from law. She had a 25-year history of leadership positions at law and left. She was director of sustainability. So Jerry's interested in some volunteer opportunities, and I'm doing my best to convince her that this is a good speak. Thanks for coming, Jerry.
Very good is Diana Sloan. Diana is with First National and our guest today.
How cool is our club that we have the two longest standing deans at the university in our club? Pretty cool. But this one retired, kind of.
So it's my honor to host Ann Schmiesing. She is Marty Evans' guest. Ann is the Dean of the Graduate School of the CU, a very big and important position that she is handling brilliantly. Ann has some connections to Rotary. Her dad is a Rotarian, and her daughter, who is at NIWAD, was participating in ROT. Please welcome Ann.
Hi, it's my pleasure to introduce my husband, Scott Pierce. This is his first visit to Redmond.
I'd like to introduce Carolyn Goodell with the Boulder Chamber. She is also perhaps the yes. My guest today is John Ruffin. I met him probably about a year ago professionally, and we struck up a friendship over the last year. And he's a leadership coach and an organizational cultural strategist. So please welcome John.
My husband, Scott Stocker, is here to listen to Pete Steinhauer. He's a veteran as well, first to the fifth med, as a medical
Step 6.
Have a great pleasure. Have a Gregory and Anna Gentry. Gregory is going to be inducted into our program. So it's my pleasure to introduce them.
Hi, I have the fun of introducing two people who told me they couldn't stay today. And they saw what a great opportunity it was to meet so many fabulous people. So, Nicole Miron is a lawyer and attorney for immigration and does a lot of wonderful, amazing stuff. And her spouse is Micah Rothstein, and he does great things too, because he just did eye surgery on me yesterday. And I say surgery because it sounds so important. But anyway, I really love having him here.
Did we miss anyone? Please come see us again. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Gary. Realizing that tomorrow is Veterans Day, we had a tradition in this club, and you've experienced it elsewhere, where those who served stood, and rightly so. I'd like to broaden that, because there were some folks who stayed home, some folks who have relatives, have friends, perhaps even currently have somebody they know in the military. So when Nathan starts this, we fuse it up. If you were in any one of these branches or had a relative in them, let's all stand. That's appropriate if it fits for you. So, here you go.
Sound. She's Army.
We know someone, a family member.
Lindsay.
was taught that the Marine Corps' birthday is today. I think I was told it is anyway. 144 years, something like that. Okay, we are going to switch the agenda a little bit in case you happen to be reading it. This shows membership moments, but Mike's going to come up and fill us in on the nomination slate. And so Mike, take it away.
So I'm very excited to talk to you about the nominating committee, the process, and ultimately our final nominees for president-elect and for the board. So the nominating committee is composed of 2 past presidents, 2 members at large, President Marty Evans, and chaired by me. We met multiple times over the last 2-3 weeks and have a great slate of nominees for you. We did a census of the membership. And there were 145 people who had not been on the board or past president. And of these 145, we selected 8. There are also in the club are 18 past presidents. And in order to be a president or a president-elect, you had to have been on the board at some point, either currently or in the past. So we had 47 people who will qualify to be your president-elect. I'm very proud to announce the president-elect for the 2019-2020 year as John Sullivan. Please stand. John joined our Rotary Club in 2001. He's one of the founders of the law firm of Sullivan, Green, and CB, thank you, which has offices in Denver and Boulder. He served on the birthday committee, the Boulder Vision Committee, which he co-chaired in 2003, and the Preserve Planet Earth Committee, which he co-chaired for several years. Most recently, he was the chair of the Boulder Rotary Club Foundation. President-elect nominee, John Sullivan. We have 8 board of director nominees. And one thing as a committee that we talk about is we're such a large club. And so sometimes you can't always know each one of the members. So you might vote for the person who you know or sat down with. So we wanted to give an opportunity not only to just read their bios, but to hear from them directly. So we did a video, okay, with 20 to 30 seconds from each of them introducing themselves to you. One of the 8 we weren't able to, so I'm going to read and have him stand up. But when I say your name, please stand up, and then when I'm done, or when you see yourself on the video, stand up, and when the next person comes on, just sit down so that they have a moment in the spotlight. This is for these nominees. That are out of the 8. We will vote on December 8th, which is a Friday, for 4 of them. These 4 will start July 1st of 2018, and then we'll have a 2-year term. Our board are 8 members serving 4-year terms, so 4 cycle on. These 4 will cycle on starting this next July. The first one I'm very proud to announce is Kai Abelkis. Kai Abelkis is sponsored by Dean Bedell. He graduated from Indiana University in journalism back in 1986. Married for over 25 years. Kai is the father of 3 beautiful children. Moved to Boulder in 1999. Weston started working as Boulder Community Health Sustainability Coordinator. He volunteers with Project Cure and a board member of the New Church of Boulder Valley. Kai Abelkis. And for the other 7, well, we have the video. Stand up, and that's your name.
Is Dr. Rich Lyons. I am the current president of our New Generation Rotary Club. And the reason why I joined Rotary to begin with was because service is my highest commodity. And I always want to find other applications to give back to our community, both locally and internationally. So that's what Rotary means. It's a global organization that helps a lot of folks in different organizations, different ways, which I really support about.
Hi, my name is Nancy Wagner, and I have been in Boulder since 2003. Been an ambassador of the Boulder Chamber since since then, so that's over 13 years. I love serving the community. I love volunteering. I have a passion in helping people, and I love
My name is Erin Doherty, and I am a realtor, an adventurer, a mentor, and I'm passionate about education, fair housing issues, and international affairs.
And be smart.
And be smart. And what Rotary means to me is Rotary provides that opportunity for me to do good in my community while making a difference in people's lives here.
I'm Walter, I moved over in 1972 to attend the university. My wife Marilyn and I raised our 3 children. My career in entrepreneurial business history and education. As I got to know about Rotary and its focus on humanitarian services, it resonated with one of my favorite sayings: what we do every day is a living, what we do give every day is a life.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Sachs, and I love bringing people together for helpful reasons, which is why I spent my career managing and marketing special events across the country. Most recently, my husband Chris and I started our own wedding planning and design business, where we help happy couples in their journey to marriage. Rotary has been an anchor in my life, fueling my passion for volunteer service and helping me gain a bigger picture understanding of the needs of our community and our world. I joined Rotary at the age of 30, and I know that it will be in my life forever. I'm really proud to be a Boulder Rotarian.
My name is Bob Taylor. Susanna and I moved to Colorado in 1971 when I joined the faculty at the College of Business, University of Colorado. In the fields of general and technical, including marketing research, statistics, operations management, management science, and information systems. I joined Boulder Rotary in 1986 and have always been a member of the meeting management committee. I enjoy meeting and keeping in contact with professionals throughout the Boulder community. I also thoroughly enjoy the programs that keep me informed about local, state, national, and international events. I will always be grateful for my time in Boulder Rotary.
Hi, I'm Doug Geisler. John Hockey introduced me to Boulder Rotary about 4 years ago. I lead the district advocacy. We focus on resilience and attainable housing and early childhood issues in Boulder and Boonville counties. I want to thank Rotarians at Boulder Rotary for volunteering with us 1,000 other residents recently on our September Day of Caring. I've been in 2 Rotary clubs now in 2 different cities, and for the last 3 years, I've been a sponsor for the Fairview High School Internet Club. I've also been in Boulder Rotary Roots leadership, because I believe that Roots is an attempt to expand our membership in Rotary and get people who normally might not join Rotary to be part of our movement and to be part of spreading the word about service to us. Thank you.
All right, one more round of applause.
Thank you very much, Mike. Get to all on the slate. Bob, if you would come on down and introduce Pete. And as you're walking this way, I was given 2 basketball tickets for tonight, men's basketball against UNC, 6 p.m., not a.m., 6 p.m. So think about it, because it would be nice to have you in the nowadays.
It's my pleasure to introduce.
Can you pull the microphone? Pull the microphone. Microphone. There you go.
Sorry. Better?
Much.
It's my pleasure to introduce Pete Steiner. Pete has been a member of this club 48 years. Pete was in the Navy, but he really was in the Marine Corps. And that's because the Navy supplies all the medical, all the doctors, nurses, physicians, surgeons, whatever. While in a Marine mission, I just want to talk this one very short story. Fellow came in with a grenade in his throat, and Pete wound up having to go ahead, or did, sandbag the entire operating room area and was able to extract that grenade out through this Marine's mouth. That's the kind of stuff that he was involved with
in 1966 to 1967 while serving in Vietnam. For some of the young folks, Vietnam is in Southeast Asia. Anyway, he also served 2 terms as CU regent. I'll end by just saying that in Vietnam, we lost 58,220 young men and women. Something that we should never, ever forget. Pete, it's all yours.
Okay. Well, your better exposure up there. Can you get me on?
Yep. Can you turn off HDMI?
Okay, there. Okay, that's Vietnam for a happy group of people in here that were born then. I was in Southeast Asia, and this was my home for a year. This, what your son is. This was an old map of North Vietnam, South Vietnam, right there with the militarized zone. This was fixed in the Geneva Accords in 1954, so two countries were split. Hanoi is up here. That's the capital of Vietnam today. Saigon, which is Ho Chi Minh City, is down there. I was stationed in Da Nang, right there, and the Marine Corps went from here to here. The rest of it was Army, all the way down to the Mekong Delta. This is Cambodia, that green is Laos, Thailand, and China up there. My duties there were not ones of the firefights, the jungle patrols, the bombings, and the killings, but I worked in a Marine MASH unit, just like you see in the television series MASH, exactly the same, except we didn't have any nurses. Yeah. But other than that, it's exactly the same. This morning I wake up and I see Donald Trump and the rest of the APAC leaders at a meeting in Da Nang. This is where probably the heaviest fighting of the 10 years of the war went on from here up to the demilitarized zone. Amazing what's going on these days. My duties were in a MASH unit, and I was an oral surgeon. I did all the facial wounds and also the body identifications of the dead Marines that were brought in. Okay, I'm going to show a bunch of slides, but then we've been back 27 times, my wife and I. We've gone back every year since 1996 or something. Anyway, we go every year, and it's really changed a huge amount there. So, things I remember: the beautiful country there, the rice paddies, the mountains, the beautiful jungle, and this beautiful South China Sea. The heat, boy, it's out there, I'll tell you. Guns, rice paddies. This is the planting season, water buffaloes. Every stalk of rice then and still is planted by hand. And all of the different rice paddy areas are watered by hand with things like this. They somehow have now in some of the mechanical stuff that do water into each one of them, but this is it, the way it is now. And this is the harvest season. You know, in the north of Vietnam, there's usually two rice planting seasons a day. In the south, there's 3 to 4, depending on the weather. The rice is all harvested by hand, and it's put on a road. Everything is put on a road, and everybody in a car, a bicycle, or running goes over it. This is the way the rice kernels are separated from the chaff in there. Snakes. This is me with my red hair. Snakes
not only do we have a lot of regular awful casualties, but we had a lot of snake bites, spider bites, water buffalo gorings, and this was found, I found this in my tent. This was a bamboo viper, which we had a lot of bites like this, kind of like a rattlesnake. It affects the blood system, but most people get really sick with it when they die. When I went over there at Camp Pendleton, they brought Marines from all the docks and chaplains in to teach them how to be Marines. They said there was 48 kinds of snakes in Vietnam. 47 of them are deadly poisonous, and the 48 swallow you alive. Anyway, helicopters. It's a pretty dark picture here. Can you hear these lights out of the bunker? I don't know. Anyway, this is a yard marker, a kilometer mark like they still have today with Hanoi written on it. And this is up in the right in Hue, north of Da Nang. And the only thing with Hanoi on it that I saw for a year, but this is what everybody got their picture taken by Hanoi. This was in the city of Hue where the Catapency raged on and on. That's the old flag of South Vietnam. These are the enemy. These are the Vietnam. We not only treated our Marines, but we treated the Vietnam and North Vietnamese regulars in there too, along with civilians. I put this in as a dentist here. Sorry, it's really light in this room. The black teeth here. These this is not, I was chewing beetle nut. This is a secretion from a bug that's painted on the teeth. When I was there 50 years ago, most women 35 and older had black teeth. It was considered kind of a sign of beauty. And this is what it looks like up close. This is painted on. And very few people there have black teeth now. Maybe people in their 80s and 90s, all women. And that's just the way it was then. Atrocities. This was a Billy Chief had been brought in. He'd been in a box for a long, long time. He was brought into our hospital, and you can see how skinny he was, but you can see how long he had been in the box. We saw lots of atrocities, both sides, and they were not good sometimes. This is my mansion here. It was just exactly, again, like the thing on TV. We had tents with tin roofs on it, and there was about 3 square city blocks we had. This is it. This is a bunker that 50 caliber machine gun range. We had about 150 Navy corpsmen that ran everything from the motor pool to the blood bank to the surgical assistants. We had 4 orthopedic surgeons, 4 general surgeons, 4 anesthesiologists, about 10 internists for all the sickness that came along with it, malaria and yellow fever and all that, and about 10 general medical officers, myself, an oral surgeon, and 3 other dentists. We had 2 chaplains. We had about 75 Marines for security, because every 25 to 30 yards around the base we had these bunkers with 50 caliber machine guns. We never did get attacked or anything. We had a couple of mortars that get in there. They didn't bother anything. In a big hospital like this, we didn't have a public service or stuff that's going on in Boulder. All of our electricity was run by a generator there. Water came into these huge tanks. This is the house girl we had that did our washing and cleaned our stuff, and everything, you got water out of this. This is the shower. You notice the stairs going up. You got very conservative with your water because you have all your own water in the shower in a 5-gallon can, and you climbed up there and put it in this thing. We did get a heater in there during the winter time, but that was a nice area to have. Dinners. Those of you who have been out in bivouac, in your tin plates and everything, you dump it in the hot water on the way and eat and dump it out and clean them on the way after you finish eating. You notice these things here, because during the monsoons, which is generally end of November till the middle of February, it never stopped raining. It was muddy, muddy, muddy. So we have these platforms everywhere in there. And this is a great place. This is the officer's scrapper. And it's called a 4-holder. The enlisted had a 12-holder. But it's just a little slat with 4 holes in it. And yeah, it's different. You notice the burning in every morning at 10 o'clock, the 4 55-gallon drums with the diesel fuel in it were brought out and burned, and that's a nice little smoky odor through the whole camp there. This is my place. Sorry, these are awfully light in this room, but this is very Christmas. These are bunkers here. You can't see this one right here. This is Francis Cardinal Spellman. We did get a few celebrities that would come, and he came on Christmas Day of 1966. Baseball players, anybody know who that is? Stan Van Musial and Brooks Robinson here. They both came with the USO. They stayed with us a couple of nights. Musial got so drunk every night he was just scared if he could be in there. But I was showing Brooks Robinson how to get a baseball there. This is the dental clinic. A lot of times we didn't have electricity, so we went outside and used the sun. And a lot of times the dental, this is a mobile dental clinic was moved by helicopters, and with the helicopters, they not only did things like this, but artillery and everything moving wherever things were needed. This is combat dental unit set up on the beach somewhere. But we have really good dental supplies and everything in there. And this is the way casualties, that was our main thing, casualties were brought in by helicopter. And so oftentimes the people were brought in within 30 minutes after they'd been wounded. Helicopter pilots and the foreman on there were the angels of mercy. This saved so many lives. Now, my whole year was doing casualties. We did other things too, but that was our main trip there. So I always show pictures of some casualties when I put the program on, and they are very ugly, but this is what happens in war. Today, over in Iraq and Afghanistan, the weapons are much more sophisticated. The wounds are exactly the same, though. And so this is how they're brought in off of a helicopter, taken into the triage area. Triage area is kind of like emergency room. It's where people were sorted out who goes to the operating room first, who goes last, who is too wounded to go and going to die. For a lot of great things were made there. That place. Dark picture, this is the cat, this is the triage area, and the stretchers were put on sawhorses, and IVs were started, and x-rays were taken, and blood bank, and everything was in there. We knew when we were going to have a lot of casualties because we would get 300 to 400 pints of blood in from the U.S. And we knew when that happened that we were going to have a lot of casualties within a day or two. This is in the operating room there. Okay, here's some of the, thank you. Yeah, here's some of the wounds. This is a punchy steak. Things that are put in a hole, covered over with grass, and you step on it and it goes right through the foot. Even though there's a steel plate inside of our gel boot, it went right through them. This is a sure exit hole. This is an x-ray of it. And after we cut them off, we just pull them through there. Now, I'm warning people, if you have a weak stomach, don't look at the next few slides. I'll run through them fast, but this is what we did every day. These are bullets. This is hit some bone or something and smashed like that. When a bullet hit a bone or a jawbone, it would break the bone up, and both pieces of the bone or pieces of the teeth would actually become secondary missiles and go on through and hurt the rest of the soft tissue there. There's perforating, penetrating, and avulsive wounds. The penetrating ones are the ones that are bullets or stuff goes in and doesn't come out. The perforating ones, something goes in and does come out. And the avulsive ones where lots of tissue is just taken away. But this is a person, all these white spots here are pieces of metal that were lodged in his face. This one came through here, ended up over here, didn't go out, and that's what it came through that way, and the bullet lodged over on that side. These are the other kind of machine gun bullets that go right through the leg. These are the avulsive wounds, where pieces of the face and jaw and everything are just gone. Same here. This man lost his arm. You notice on his corpsman out in the field, put the penicillin allergy, wrote it on his chest there. Another avulsive wounds, and these wounds we saw the most was the from the booby traps that blew the legs off. Here, this was the interesting thing that Bob was talking about. This guy came in on the 20th of December, 1966. We had mass casualties that night. It was raining for about 2 days. Couldn't breathe very well, so we put a tracheostomy in him, but he had to wait 4 or 5 hours for surgery anyway. We get him in, we take an x-ray of it, here's this round thing. And this is a rifle grenade. This part is shot out of a rifle, but it just flew into his neck there. And that was, we took it out. And next day, all over the country was pictures of other doctor made and the patient with one of these things. And yeah, it didn't blow up, so it was a successful operation. And I looked at this guy 4 years ago. I found him in Pico Rivera, California. It was a very emotional, meeting. Yeah. Hospital ship, the boats and the sanctuary were there. They were good except during monsoons, so the helicopters couldn't find them. And it was good. They were offshore about 15 miles, and they were very safe because the North Vietnamese of the Vietcong did not have submarines or anything like that. These cruised up and down the coast, and you can see a very small landing strip there where helicopters came in. The way wounded were evacuated, they came from our hospital down to the air base, which was 5 miles or so, either by helicopter or bus, loaded into these big planes and taken. There were sometimes on these stanchions 5 or 6 patients high. They had doctors and nurses in there while they were transported. Most of them went to Clark Air Force Base in the Philippines, which was about a 2.5-hour flight from Da Nang in there. And from there they went to different hospitals around the country. Wounded always went back home to the hospital closest to their hometown. Didn't matter if they were Marine, Air Force, Army, or what. Like at the Pittsburgh Army Hospital, every service went there. They lived in the Rockland area. We did a lot of work in the field with the locals there. Would set up dental clinics outside, and all we did was take teeth out, and the 3 of us here could wipe them off in a bottle of alcohol and go to the next person. It wasn't very sterile, but we'd see 200 or 300 people in an afternoon that have never seen a dentist, and probably never will. This is one of my favorite pictures of taken in 2000, the lady while I was nursing the baby. The hospitals there were, if you ever have a problem of sharing a room with somebody in your hospital here, everybody there shares a bed with somebody. This is the orthopedic ward, 2 people with their legs up and thing. There, this is a civilian hospital. They have no food service or anything. Your food is brought to you by your friends or relatives, like here. Then
This is another one of my great pictures, I think, of the old man smoking a cigarette with his leg up in the sling, and this little baby with a broken leg with his leg up in the sling. And a lot of hospitals today are the same way over there with 2 people in a bed still. I put this one in because very rarely do we ever see white sheets, but you see the little dots on them, these are flies. And this is this is what I've had a good time doing. There's so many kids over there that have cleft lips and cleft palates, and no doctors took care of them. And these are some of the kids that came in. And this is what a cleft lip looks like. Very rarely do you ever see anything like this, because most of the time the cleft lips are closed in 4 or 5 weeks after the baby is born. This little girl was cleft rate, and I did some on people in their 20s that had never had them repaired. But we took a book of before and after pictures out with an interpreter, and did have to go for about a mile and saw this little girl, and she was the first one we did. Talked to her mother and then showed what we could do, and they'd come on in the next day. Well, they didn't show. 3 days later, she did show, and we took care of a short little 45-minute procedure, and just transformed kids into a happy little kid. And we kept them for 10 days. They've never eaten so good in their life. We let the mother come in during the day, but we didn't come out at night. They just stayed, they just stayed with the wards with our other people. Well, that was another picture. That was after. And these are just a few of these. We did 1 or 2 of these a week in the last 6 months there, and when we had time. But that was just kind of a fun thing to do, it really was. Now, today, this is Vietnam today. All one country, the capital is Hanoi. Down here again was where I was. The demilitarized zone, the 17th parallel, was only 35 miles across from the sea, South China Sea, to Laos. And this is a picture of the demilitarized zone. This bare area in there was called the McNamara line. McNamara was the Secretary of Defense during most of the war, and he authorized the use of Agent Orange to defoliate this area. And this is defoliated all the way across to Laos, thinking that it will keep the people from up here coming across. Well, it just did an end run, and so it was kind of useless, but the things that happened to this were just unbelievably bad. The birth defects were terrible. This is the Ben Hai River running right through the DMV. This is my wife and I a few years ago on the thing there. Siamese twins are about 10 or 12 sets a year born in the little province right below the demilitarized zone, probably the size of Boulder County, where there isn't that many born in the United States during the year. Just horrible birth defects. From that area. This looks like a great big golf course. This is landing in the international airport in Hanoi. Looks like beautiful sand bunkers and all that. These are still today the B-52 bunkers that were bombed all around Hanoi. These things were built big as this building, and they're very deep, and they fill with water. They're filled with fish now too, amongst all the little rice paddies. By the way, this is today in Vietnam. We've been back, as I said, 27 times. This is their White House. They've been there, and on the cornerstone is Eiffel of about 1900 or so. The Hanoi Hilton, where all of our prisoners were. Those of you who can read French, it says Massage Central, which I think is Central Prison. This was built in the 1800s by the French. They still have a guillotine in it. But right now, they just have a museum there from all of our prisoners, and this is a 35-story Western hotel right inside the walls of the Hanoi Hilton there. This is street scene. This, I think, was September 2nd, which is their Independence Day, the Vietnamese flag. Hallam Bay, which is east of Illinois. The beautiful, beautiful areas that are tourist place there. That's a wonderful place. Foods. Vietnamese food, yeah, I've never had any. It's wonderful. Until 2 or 3 years ago, most places there did not, they kept it very well. They did not have refrigeration. And they had no safe way to change that until a lot of the foods until 3 or 4 years ago. And so when you wanted a dinner, you went out that same day and bought your vegetables. There's about the same here. The bread market. Fruit market, the fruits are the same as here, with a lot of tropical fruits that are just wonderful here. This little piggy went to market, and an hour later, that was that little piggy. And flies around this or something else, but they still have all these outdoor markets there. 4 o'clock in the morning, you hear the pigs squealing. Fish. These are freshwater eels, and eel soup is just magnificent. Ducks. And this is the greatest place to see. This is the duck and chicken market. You pick out a live chicken or duck that you want, give it to her. She cuts the neck off, leaves it, puts it in hot water, defeathers it in about 10 minutes. You can see the blood there. And that's a bunch of chickens. It's done. I work in hospitals. My wife works, she was a music major here, and she's taught in the conservatory of music that she made no one sing. These are all Vietnamese instruments made out of bamboo, but she teaches jazz over there. Of course, they love jazz and Glenn Miller music and all of that. I work in some hospitals, and they always meet you at the hospital with a bunch of people. And this is a burn hospital for children in Saigon. There's so many children that are burned, and just the cleanest hospital I ever saw in Vietnam. And that's why children are born, because most people still just cook on with hot oil or hot water, those things spill on these kids. And some of the things you see, smallpox, you never see that here. This is, you can see the pox included in the nose. Again, you can't see the picture. This is keratomalacia. It's a disease of the eyes, just lack of vitamin A. This is a film over the cornea, and they're blind. A lot of kids have this. Just not eating green leaf vegetables or yellow and green fruit. AIDS, it's all over the world. They have these things up with public health all over Vietnam. And for Rotary, this was about 10 years ago, but this is the polio area that they have there with all these kids. They still have this. There's no polio going on there now, but all these kids are still with stretches and braces and things like that. And afterwards, these are the people that work at the hospice, and we gave them some money from our Rotary Club here a few years ago. That's our thing there. And afterwards, they always take you out to dinner or lunch and holding up a thing, and we say, "What is that?" They say, "You eat first." Let me tell you. And these are 2 hospital doctors, and our friend here is a doctor, and just my daughter was with me. And that dinner was called long hail, which is pig ovaries and uterus boiled. No taste, you just chew it, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Here's some restaurants, great restaurants here. This is a picture of what they serve there. Dog. T-H-I-T, kid means meat, chaw is dog, so dog meat. These are dogs going to market. They raise dogs for their for dinner. It's not every dog on the street. That would be out there at the cat restaurant. I never went there. And there's a snake restaurant. if you ever go to a steak restaurant on Old Asia, you never want to be the guest of honor. Because they bring the live snake out for your approval at the table. Then they kill it, they drain the blood out of it into some alcohol, and then they take the feeding part out. You get the guy that gets that is the guest of honor, gets to eat that while still eating. And again, the Buzz restaurant, great big cockroaches. This is where I became an ugly American. I pretended like I was going to eat this thing. Not a chance. Yeah, there's my Vietnamese doctor friend, she just loved it. No, I'm going about 5 more minutes because I started 5 minutes late.
I gave you your minutes.
And this is President Marty's favorite restaurant, my done restaurant. In Hanoi, my wife and I with the CU flag, and that was Ho Chi Minh's mausoleum. This is the Bob Hope Show. Chris date 26th of December, 1966. We knew he was coming someday, but nobody found out until that day. There were 15,000 of us on this hill, pouring rain. And that was one of the great things we ever had. That's it from the top looking down. And these are the graveyards up in the north, all above to the water table. These are the graveyards in the south. And this is the wall in Washington. It was dedicated 35 years ago today on the Marine Corps birthday. And this is a picture of the Benheim River at the Northern Zone, with a looking from the south to the north. And this was one of the greatest days of my life, getting home. He was born 2 weeks after I went to Vietnam, so that was the first day I saw him. And a bit if you remember Bob Spangler, he was the president here of this club. He was the bank president in Boulder. He was over there and he was wounded in there, but he responded to me after my first talk back in 1990. And he said, the reason that I really went back to Vietnam was that. See the red-headed kids. Okay, Marty, I'm done.
Bob, can you put the video back on?
So, Peter, I understand the mic is on, and it was not easy being responded. I hope you appreciate that. It's hard to respond to any presentation, but yours did a wonderful job of dissonance of that time. We have now heartwarming and heart-wrenching experiences at that time. Very quickly, when I was discharged, I was going on my ship to Da Nang, 2 nights to Saigon, back to my home in California. We later at the University of Colorado. As you know, we sometimes get the last word. In this time, as you know, we are donating in your name in gratitude for your presenting and for being a Rotary member 100 doses of vaccine for polio plus one. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Peter, for sharing that. It brings history alive and brings back your memories, either of experiences and knowing friends, and also just what you gave and others gave this country. At this point, I'd like to have 3 membership moments, and Greg Gentry. Greg, come on down. Greg is Director of Choral Studies at CU Boulder, has been since August 2012. Previously, he headed the Choral Studies program at Arizona State and University of Alabama. Began his teaching career at K-12 level in Aurora and Littleton Public Schools. And you may recognize him perhaps more from the back side than the front side, because he is the artistic director and conductor of the annual Holiday Festival. Coming up, okay, correction, 8, 9, 10, December. He prepares and conducts collaborative choral and orchestral works such as Bach's St. Matthew Passion, which was performed in Matthew along with Boulder Hill. It additionally presents at music conventions, makes guest conducting appearances nationally, and lives in Erie with his bride, Anna, who is in the back there. And probably he probably got a genetic disposition to Rotary because his father was a 5-decade Rotarian and president of the Denver University Hills Club, and was with you this summer, I think. And the dad is now in North Carolina and gave us a dinner. So, welcome, Gregory Gentry. Next up, the man with the voice, Jim Williams.
Thank you, Marty. My nominee and our new member is Michael McHale. Michael is the president and CEO of True Community Care. He wants you all to know that he has more than 17 years of healthcare experience in operational management, strategic planning, fiscal management, and program growth and development within the hospice and long-term care industry. He has held various leadership positions with hospices in California, Michigan, Maryland, and prior to joining us here, he was president and CEO for Rainbow Hospice and Palliative Care, a program service of the Presence Health System serving the greater Chicago area. He's been a member of the Rotary Club of Annapolis, Maryland, where he served as chair of the Grants Committee, worked on the Books for International Goodwill Project, and the annual Kansas City Sanctioned Barbecue and Music Festival. He was also a member of the Park Ridge Rotary Club in Park Ridge, Illinois, where he served on the board of directors. He is a Paul Harris Fellow. He has 3 children, 1 grandchild. His youngest son, a sophomore now in high school here, is excited to be playing lacrosse in Colorado. His family currently resides in Brookfield. Michael, welcome.
Carol, will you and Julie come forward for your transition?
It's my great pleasure to present a Boulder Rotary Blue Badge to Julie Pierce. Her interest in Rotary, as you heard once before, began when her son, Jacob, was a Rotary exchange student in Denmark. And he'll be returning to Denmark next week, I think, to visit with his lifelong friends there. Their family subsequently has hosted additional exchange students, and she is already an enthusiastic supporter and active on our club's Youth Exchange Committee and World Community Service. She sees this as a life-changing educational program that Rotary offers. Julie is an accredited buyer's representative and a resort and second home property specialist with Colorado Landmark. Prior to going into real estate, she owned a small business in Boulder and handled every aspect of that business, from production to marketing to sales of their product, which was a unique baby carrier. Before coming to Boulder, she was an elementary school teacher on the East Coast. Julie is married with 3 children, and she brought her husband as a guest today. Scott is back there, Scott Pierce. Her family moved to Boulder in 2006, and she takes full advantage of this nature-loving place. She especially likes skiing and trail running. She also enjoys the arts and is a past board member of the Art Underground in Louisville. She's already engaged, and we are so happy to hand her a blue badge for Boulder.
Sorry, Daryl, you start. I still have 2 tickets, if anybody would like to go to a basketball game tonight. And thank you to those of you who brought guests. We have talked about this First Friday Friends, but we don't care what Friday it is. Just bring your friends, bring your relatives, bring anybody you see on the street that would like to know about Rotary. We'd love to have them. Now, I just want to make one related comment about Vietnam. A friend, Jim Franklin, in our classmates at CU, and he was, I thought he probably. Anyway, over the years, you kind of wonder what happens to people. And I would look at the wall and I'd look for his name and I never found it. He came up to me at a homecoming reunion at CU several years ago. So I'm so glad you're alive. So thank you all for being here. The best place to be at a Friday afternoon. So, oh, the PowerPoint. Thank you very much, because these 2 fine folks have created that. Make it happen.
Returns and guests, and welcome to the Boulder Rotary Club PowerPoint. And Boulder Rotary Club needs volunteers for community food share. Let's all bang hunger.
It's been shown that donations increase greatly when greeters are stationed at donation locations, and greeters are needed at King Soopers locations in Boulder, Table Mesa, Lafayette, and Louisville, Monday, November 13th and Tuesday, November 14th. See Gary Kahn or Nancy Chin Wagner to sign up.
And remember to save the date of January 6, 2018 for the Rotary Nationals President's Dinner and Polio Fundraiser. And moving on to other committee briefs, the Boulder Rotary Club Book Club update. After a very successful discussion of polio, an American story last month, the Boulder Rotary Club Book Club has scheduled its next meeting. Darla Sheep will host at her home, and she has chosen the book, The Death and Life of the Great Lakes by Danny Yu.
Darla explains why did I choose this book? Because she's in the early stages of developing a World Community Service project focused on the Ganges River in India. While Egan's book is about the Great Lakes, she thinks the issues facing both may be very similar. We all know the importance of clean water. For more information, contact Darla or Sue Deans.
Next week's program on November 17th. Unlike Congress, state legislatures have several constitutional and procedural rules that help them get things done. Polarized, not paralyzed.
Carl Kurtz retired from National Conference of State Legislatures in 2014 after 42 years of service. As a consultant, he's been the principal investigator of polarization, partisanship, and policymaking in state legislatures, and on November 17th, he will speak to us about the process.
Don't miss it. The Boulder Valley Rotary Club is a sponsor of the Empathy and Impact Benefit on November 18th at 7 p.m. at E-Town Hall to bring awareness to a major human rights issue, human trafficking and modern-day slavery.
Teaming with I Empathize, a nonprofit located in Boulder, whose mission is to equip adults to empower youth to eradicate exploitation, the Boulder Valley Club will be screening a film at this event, Be Relentless, which is a film about shattering the record for the world's longest triathlon to bring awareness in the fight against human trafficking.
Rotary International has made this an issue of focus worldwide with the Rotary Action Group, and we hope to have as many Rotarians as possible attend this event. Oh, holy cow, what was that? This has been the Boulder Rotary Club PowerPoint for November 10th, 2017. All together now. Have a great weekend.